What theories have influenced your personal philosophy of education?
I personally believe that perennialism is one of the major ones that has really affected my beliefs in education. Because I believe that even though classics like the Odyssey and the Iliad and Moby Dick and all of Shakespeare's works, they can really be still applied to, because personally I believe that there's nothing new under the sun. So that even the classics still have a great effect and great messages and can be learned from still today. Also, progressivism, definitely. I believe that students should do hands-on learning. It's actually one of the 8 multiple intelligences, which was a theory developed by Howard Gardner, which I also believe is very important because not every student learns the same. And it's not that all students can't learn, it's just that they learn differently. And so I think progressivism really takes into account the kinesthetic learners and the people who learn from nature, because it really like focuses on things like that. So say, your class is learning about sea creatures. You go to an aquarium and take them to see all different types of sea animals and things like that. And you're reading a book like Hatchet and you go camping afterward. Things like that is what really is very important. Also, I think that education should be student-centered, because then it helps students learn to have inner locus of control, which basically means that they take responsibility for their learning. And I mean, yes, partly is the teachers and the parents' part to work with the students, but the students, in effect, have to take responsibility for themselves. And that's really, I think we don't give students enough credit, because if we really wanted to, give them, enough credit and give them enough responsibility, I think more of them would be actually up to it, and we'd be really surprised about what we learn and what we see. So, yeah.
How do you see culture and gender differences in our schools?
I think it's very important that gender and culture is very important in schools. I come from a school where we had a little bit of everybody. So we were multicultural. We had Guatemalans, we had people from all over, and it helps students learn that our culture isn't the only culture. That there are other cultures out there, and we learn how to respect them, and we learn how to celebrate them. And I think that's so important when we incorporate, when we don't see history from one side or one point of view, but we try to see history from every point of view, because then we're creating the opportunities for the different cultures to be celebrated, and it really gives us the opportunity to say, well, this is what, this is how we see it, and this is how they see it, and then put ourselves in the shoes and teach our children to be empathetic, teach our students to be able to put themselves in the shoes of other people, and really be empathetic, and really say, I can't feel your pain because I haven't been in that situation, but I can see where you're coming from because I can understand. And so I think gender and culture is very, very, very important, because some of the greatest people who made great effects weren't just one race or one culture, and it takes everyone to really make this world a better place, no matter what race or gender, or it takes everybody.
How do you plan to use what you know in your future classroom?
I'm a firm believer in teamwork, so that's always a good thing. I want kids to learn not only to be able to think on their own and think for themselves, because that's good, but also to be able to work with other people, because it's very important. Because if you don't learn how to work with other people, then you can't work in society, because that's what it's all about. I mean, sometimes yes, it's good to be able to think on your own and to work on your own, but sometimes it's even better to work with other people. And I mean, if you wanna fight the world's injustices, you normally do it with other people. You normally do it together as a unit, creating that sense of unity and that sense of togetherness. And I think that's really what's important. Also, I would implement the Socratic method, which is asking students questions based on what they've learned. So it gives them a chance to go further than just me asking questions, but forming and basing their own beliefs and opinions on what they've learned from the questions that I'm asking them. And I think it's very important because students should be able to think for themselves. Students should be able to question things and form opinions. I don't think that students should just take everything at face value, because I don't take everything at face value. And I want to instill that sense of curiosity and wonderment in my students, because it's very important. And that's basically about it, I guess.